Been here since September.
And when was
He was born December 6th.
what's his name?
Zayden.
Saden. How well did they look after you in this facility when you were in the advanced stages of your pregnancy?
They looked after us really well. Once I had to go and be induced, so they took me out like Wednesday evening, and I went to the hospital, got induced, and I had him later on that night. And we get to stay there 24 to 48 hours, depending on whether you bottle feed or breastfeed.
How does that work in hospital? Do you have somebody looking over you? You have a guard there while you give birth?
Yes, the officer usually sits in the room 24/7, and you're shackled to the bed unless you're in active labor. Then they actually let you stay unshackled until you give birth. After you give birth, you have to get shackled back to the bed.
You're shackled to a bed.
Just your ankle.
Just your ankle, but you're shackled to
but
a
you're
bed.
shackled, yes.
It's not the most propitious
No.
circumstances in which to have something which is so intensely
Yes.
personal.
It was very embarrassing, very embarrassing.
May I see the cell where you spend most of your time?
Yes.
Thank you. See, yes. How different would this be in its physical surroundings if you were at home?
At home, he would have his own room. I wouldn't have my bed in here. He would have a dresser, a changing table.
What would you tell your son when he is old enough about where he was born and the circumstances in which he was born?
I really haven't thought about that question yet. I would just tell him that mommy made a big mistake and it was for the better. Why I came here, it made mommy learn a lot, and I hope he can learn from my mistakes and see how embarrassing it was to be here, and hopefully he won't ever come to a place like this.
You'll tell him he was born in prison.
It's visiting time, and Kim is preparing to take baby Gabriella outside the unit. At times like these, offenders are sharply reminded of where they are.
132, 173, Melissa said 1 to 9 and 1 to 13.
So you have to be accompanied on these visits out, Kim, do you?
When we have the babies, yes.
Yes. Why is that?
Just for their safety.
I mean, there's sexual offenders here that have done crimes like that, so that's one of the reasons why we escort them.
It's difficult to believe that people will want to do anything to a child being taken out to a visiting area.
That it might happen.
And you have to make sure he doesn't.
Yes, sir.
This, after all, Kim, is a women's prison. So it's rather difficult to imagine that a woman would do something against a child.
Oh yeah. For me, it's hard for me to fathom that a mother or any woman would be able to do that to a child, but it happens, and there's actually women in this prison that have hurt their children. Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
132, 173, Melissa said 1 to 9.